Welcome to the next generation of gaming. I think we got primetime TV because it's 12 o'clock here in Eastern time. So I feel like we are the highlight of the summit, and naturally we got the best crew here to kind of talk about this play to earn and GameFi, something that I'm super excited about, something I'm heavily involved in, and I got a great panel of Michelle, Calvin, and Chris who are really going to help me kick off this summit with a couple questions that are kind of, I've heard the audience really asking about play to earn and GameFi. But before we start, I'll do a quick 30-second introduction. My name is Jorge Jimenez. I am a strategy director of marketing and business development with Arcade to Earn. We are in an infrastructure for GameFi. We've been making a lot of noise in this space. Pretty excited about it. We've had some interesting conversations over the past couple of weeks as we're raising private and seed funding right now. So it's been a really exciting time for us at Arcade to Earn. And so, Michelle, I'll let you kind of kick off and give you a 30-second commercial and go for there.
Hi, my name is Michelle Tsing. I am CEO of a company called Defintasy. It's a gaming and entertainment metaverse company, and also COO of a AAA gaming metaverse company as well. I'm really excited about GameFi, and I'm looking forward to having an awesome conversation with everyone here.
Chris?
Yeah, hi, I'm Chris Ebeling. I am a co-founder and creative director of Virtually Human Studios. We're based in just outside in Australia, where our first major IP in the blockchain gaming space is Zed Run, which is a digital horse racing ownership ecosystem using the power of NFTs and blockchain to give utility and true ownership back to the players. I'm super excited to be here, so thanks.
Calvin?
Hey guys, Calvin here, part of the investment team at Spartan Capital. We're currently managing 3 funds, a liquid hedge fund, a DeFi fund, and we're actually in the midst of raising a new fund focusing on metaverse and GameFi. So super excited to be here to share some thoughts.
That's awesome. And so I think let's just start off with the first question. I think the burning question I think that I get almost every day is what is play to earn? And I think Chris, if you want tell us, explain to us what play to earn is.
Yeah, so play to earn is for me, and I guess for many of us, is the next logical step in the Web3. So Web 2 gave us a lot of great utility, where you can run on your own. It's all about digital asset spaces, just without proof of ownership. And Web3 and decentralization and blockchain technology, NFTs, is giving us that extra asset of ownership, which now is putting the power and utility back into the players and actually giving them something beyond just entertainment.
I guess, Michelle, if you want to add, what's, in your space, since it's a little different from Chris on the play to earn, what are you kind of seeing in this space that you're really most excited about?
Yeah, I'm really excited about using NFTs to help emerging countries change their way of living. So our tagline is "Play to Live." So it's different from "Play to Earn" because when people in different countries earn NFTs or even cryptocurrency, it changes their life. They're able to pay rent. They're able to make a living as a result of what we are doing and building.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm probably most excited for. So, I'm South American. I'm from Ecuador, and so I've seen kind of the way of living out in South America, and I think we look at these countries that have high inflation, which America's coming to that too as well. That's a different topic, and we're seeing like Venezuela, we're seeing like things in Vietnam where I think played a revolution completely. The way that even making money, the way to play games, everything. So I think that's what I'm really most excited about in this space, at least. And so, Calvin, I guess I'll ask you, from an investment aspect of this, what are you excited about Play to Earn and what you're seeing out there?
Absolutely, yeah. So in terms of what we're excited about, similar to what Michelle just mentioned, we're extremely excited about Play to Earn providing users a new way of earning income. We feel like this is going to revolutionize how people earn income and of course digital ownership as well. Just imagine playing Fortnite, your V-Bucks, or even League of Legends, earning these shards where you can sell them for real money, or even buy these skins that are limited and then resell them for income. So we're still in the very tip of the iceberg. I feel like currently in the market we're seeing a variety of games, but currently we're seeing more simple games. So to give you a couple of examples, we've seen in the market currently. The most exciting game is probably Axie Infinity. Is one of the most successful games out there. And then the reason why it's so successful is because the token gives the right incentivization for people to play. It created this economic flywheel that allows people to really buy into their Axie, breed, and then use these tokens to play the game, earn these SLP tokens, then sell them for income. And then, of course, you have other examples like Pegasus. But moving on, I feel like there's going to be more sophisticated games coming out, like AAA companies coming out, creating more variety of games, and again expanding this space, creating fun games for people to choose from. So yeah, extremely excited about that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of mentioned like the new games and all these things coming out. I think one thing that I want to add is that gaming industry right now is over $180 billion, right? And so we're seeing right now, I mean, an influx of money coming into GameFi and everything that's in our world. I mean, there's staggering numbers that are being put out on a daily basis. Investment firms fully going into Play to Earn, GameFi, and I think Calvin, you kind of hit the point of the things that you're doing there at Spartan Capital. And so maybe if you want to elaborate of what you're looking for in these Play to Earn games, right? And then we'll switch over to Michelle and Chris and say, what are you guys doing to be attractive and to keep up with this level of money that's coming in? Because we know that all this money coming in is going to attract so many games, and we're going to get inundated with like garbage games, unfortunately, right? And it's going to create a bubble in this game world, right? But we have to figure out which games are going to be the top games and which ones are going to survive. And I think kind of like what we just heard in the NFT world from the previous conversation is that the PFP is already a bubble, right? Like PFP is already a bubble, and people NFT. So Calvin, I'll start off with you. I know I kind of gave you some segments, but the first one, and then we'll go into Michelle and Chris.
Absolutely, yeah. So in regards to what we're looking at, like you said, PFP have limited uses currently in the market, and I feel like when it comes to GameFi, we're looking at assets that could work for you, right? So a lot of people are saying, oh, instead of spending so much money, buying NFT assets, gaming assets, why not go buy a car, right? then well, my response to that is, if I actually buy gaming assets or NFT assets out there, they can actually work for me. They can actually make money for me. So currently, there's a lot of games out there. There's implementing, a lot of sophisticated ways for you to earn income. To give you a couple examples, some games are actually implementing DeFi, right? So users deposit their assets, and then games behind stage, they're actually taking this money and implementing DeFi and create this passive income for these asset owners. And then aside from that, we're also looking at something like different types of games, right? So instead of play to earn, they have different incentivization model. They have different types of ways to earn, right? There are other games that allows, for example, they move to earn, right? There's some games out there that incentivize you to do more sports. We're actually working with a project called Sweatcoin. So essentially, it calculates how many steps you take per day, and you'll earn income. You earn Sweatcoin, and then you can sell that for money. So there are different ways out there for people to earn money, and I feel like as space grows and matures, there's going to be a lot more ways for people to create this passive income, buy these NFT assets, and just put it in a vault, and then just make money for you.
So Chris, hearing this kind of stuff and going back to we're seeing all these monies coming in, and you're going to probably see the competition rising. What are you doing with your project to stay on top? What do you see as the obstacles, and what do you see hopefully that comes in from retail or even a crypto enthusiast that will kind of really propel what we're trying to do?
Yeah, so for us, it's all about positioning to be the future of entertainment, right? And with Zed Run, we're still very early, believe it or not. I mean, we've been around for a while, but we are positioning ourselves for the long run. If you've seen our roadmap for this year, we are dropping a token. So again, to play into that play to earn ecosystem, which again, looking at our Fortnites, looking at our, the stuff that is done and is common today, you should always look at that first and see, all right, what if those V-Bucks were tokens? What if those skins were paid with tokens that you earned from weekly or daily or monthly objectives of staying on the leaderboard or racing X, Y, and Z? So creating those kind of side quests and game mechanics on top of the core game will be critical. It's no easy feat finding that balance. I mean, while Axie Infinity is super successful and amazing, and I absolutely love the whole new means of wealth distribution. I think that's exactly what this is about as well. Is it like Web2 empowered the content creators and influencers, the TikTokies and the Vines and all that fun stuff. It's amazing what it did for creatives in that space and people who took and seized the opportunity. Web3 and Play to Earn will do the same. Sweatcoin was absolutely amazing to hear about, Calvin. So I'm intrigued there because I think that's really important too. That it's not all digital. The worlds are colliding, and it's something that we look at Virtually Human as well. Is how do we blend the digital and the tangible world? Without going into too much of a loop of where the metaverse is heading, but we got our AR and the VR components as well, and AI and mixed reality. We know Apple's coming with those glasses soon, so we better position ourselves for that, because that's where the mainstream content is going to be created as well. So that's
Michelle. Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. And so Michelle, I'll let you kind of share the floor on that one. I think what are you seeing in AAA games, right? How do AAA games, what AAA games will be doing in this space to kind of still be the leader in it, right? As we're seeing a lot of them pop up as well. Oh, you're on mute.
I'm really excited about AAA. I think, to differentiate from the competition, our focus is really on quality. Just really making quality assets and integrating blockchain and tokenomics and cryptocurrency and NFT into it, right? And DeFi. And I think one thing I'm really excited about is fashion, and having fashion to be interoperable between different metaverses and, a game, which is going to be very different. Because currently, if you play games, I mean, there are different skins, but it doesn't become NFTs. It doesn't become alive, right? So I think one aspect of it I wanted to see is really turning the digital into physical as well, and blurring the two. Another interesting aspect of a AAA gaming is, seeing more quality graphics, right? Because, if you go to Decentraland or Crypto Voxels, or different metaverses, things are really blurry, or the assets are really not clear. But seeing quality in there, I think it's going to be really different. As if it's real and you're really immersed in that kind of environment. I think that's going to be really different. And of course, the aspect of tokenomics and integrating communities, right? I think we haven't really spoken about that, but building that community, that guilds, and having DAO structures within AAA games. I think that will be like really interesting in the future, because you could have communities within a game, and how would that look like? And how would that impact tokenomics and also money, as we move toward the future?
Yeah, and those are all great things, great stuff that you're saying, Michelle. And it kind of starts bringing up my next question is like, so we have a crowd here that, I think it's, investors, crypto enthusiasts, traditional investors. And so I think one of the questions I want to ask is like, with all this that they're hearing, they might be like, I would say, confused or skeptic about, gaming or GameFi. And I guess what's one message you guys could tell the traditional investor what you're really bullish on in gaming and why coming into the space? Let's keep crypto aside, right? Let's not talk about crypto because that whole world itself has already a lot of FUD and all this. Everybody's skeptic about it, right? But gaming is it's we're on our own train tracks, right? So what's one message, and I'll start with Michelle, that you want to tell the investors why you're so bullish on this industry?
Yeah, so I did created metaverses and NFTs since February last year. And, and we had like over 15 or over 18 concerts. Every week I was hanging out in the metaverse with a number of people. And the reason I really love gaming is engagement. I think when you look at NFT, you go there and you look at gallery. Yeah, it's kind of cool for the first 30 minutes. But after that, like, so what, right? Or a lot of users ask, now what? So I think what I'm excited about gaming is that there's interaction and there's engagement, and which makes it really unique. And where there's gaming and where there's action and social, because with avatars in the metaverse, you can meet people and you can talk to people and you can play with different people. And I really think that if you're an investor in the in Web2, you might be missing out if you do not look into GameFi and gaming and the metaverse.
And Calvin, I'll ask you this. So with along that to talking to traditional investors, right? You're in the investment arm. How are you portraying or talking to people that are trying to get into this space? How are you getting the message across of why you're bullish on gaming and those critics that we hear? Well, what's your message?
Yeah, absolutely. So to add on to what Michelle just said, I feel like we're very bullish in Web3 in general. So Web3 is a combination of self-sovereign identity. So having you get to control your own identity, control your own PFP, how you look in the metaverse, how you want to present yourself, right? Some people just don't want to, just want to be something else, and you get to choose whatever you want. Right. And then, of course, you have NFTs. NFTs, again, it goes back to digital ownership. So aside from PFPs, you have GameFi, you have digital assets, you have collectibles, you have all sorts. And currently, we're still in the very tip of, when it comes to NFT usage. Currently we're only looking at PFPs, and then now we're looking at, GameFi, right? But we still haven't explored spaces like, on-chain credentials, and such. There are plenty more that we can look at. And then finally, there's also DeFi, right? We're very bullish on DeFi as well. Being able to get your assets to work for you passively without middlemen, right? To earn optimal yield for you. So Web3, it's a combination of all three. And I feel like, Web2 investors might take some time to be receptive to this, but I feel like in the long run, they'll see the benefit of that.
I just realized I have a little speaker chat over here that people are asking questions. So, and I'll do one more with Chris before I head to speaker chat. But just to play along with what we were just talking to, and I'll say your audience being gaming enthusiasts in the regular traditional gaming. What's your message to traditional gaming enthusiasts? Like, how do you bring them over to here? What's the value that you want to show to them of why play to earn is? I know play to earn, the message itself is a selling feature itself. But I mean, there's still a lot of skepticism. Yeah, I mean, you got to connect to a wallet and everything and all that I think still is a process.
Yeah, there's a huge education piece still there. It's not easy getting a MetaMask wallet and getting on, like, not for the layman. Like, we think it's easy because we're encompassed in that area, but it actually takes time to get people onboarded. So that's of course a huge area of focus for us. Just echoing on what Michelle and Calvin talked about, that whole identity in Web3, it's a human phenomenon today, right? You wear your sneakers, you buy your Rolex, you might drive a fancy car or walk around with a Chanel bag. That kind of psychology is not going to be different online. And so, the pandemic has escalated this for sure. A lot more people have ushered online thanks to isolation, but or no thanks to. But this was inevitable anyway. So moving into that space, our human psyche and the human phenomenon of self-identity and self-exploration and true self and figuring out who you are and who you want to be. To Calvin's point, you got to know, you don't have to look further than movies like Ready Player One or read books, that foretold this. So yeah, like to echo, to talk to investors, it would be about, think about all the opportunities that digital real estate brings to the table, digital gaming, self-identity, avatars with merch, and this merch, you've seen Artifact and Nike go together. You've seen all these big brands come to the table. And for us in Zed Run, as an example, we've worked with some really big brands as well, looking to come from that Web2 space, but also look, how do we advertise in the Web3 space? And to Calvin's point again, we're so early. It's still very undefined. There's a lot of innovation still to be had in this space. If you take apart what Zed Run really is, being a digital, like democratizing horse racing ownership and then skinning it in a digital future world and giving everybody means to access to these, to know what it is to own a horse and then race and yield and breed. It's actually, when you step back, a simple concept, right? Whereas when these more advanced games out there start coming to the table, to Michelle's point as well, AAA games with way more detailed in game design, it's going to be super exciting. So we're scratching the surface, and it's going to be amazing. We're already seeing some really great projects come out there.
You mentioned some things that I think is going on to my next question, and I think my next question is, where do you see like regulation, right, being an issue in this space? And I think what's the ways to maybe better understand it or overcome it, or even as for investors, right? the security, the token, the utility, all these things that are coming into question nowadays, especially even in the crypto space that it's having, but now in gaming. What are you guys seeing, and what are you guys, talking about or working around it? Michelle, if you want to start it off.
Sure. I just wanted to tell everyone that I'm not giving legal advice. I think if you're doing a NFT company that has to do with gaming, NFT really depending on how you structure it. Like if you have dividends and other security-like aspect, it could be deemed a security even though it's NFT. However, if it's just NFT, where when you play games and you're in NFTs, it's just a little bit cleaner, I think, legally. And when you're talking about tokens, you really have to consult with an attorney because it could be a utility, it could be a security, it could be a commodity. And I think it's important to really look at the jurisdiction, look at what the regulations are for that jurisdiction, and really consult, an attorney early, so that you can start planning and structuring, the company. And then I think if you're doing a gaming company that has to do with, prediction, for example, or loot boxes, or betting, those are a little bit different and very niche, and those need also special attention as well.
Chris, did you want to mention anything?
Echo everything that Michelle said above. Like, you really just got to do your homework and really do your research and be aware of different regulations in different areas. So yeah.
Yeah, and so the reason I had said that, and because it kind of goes on to the next segment, is education, right? I believe that education is the missing part to what the issue is with regulation here in America, I would say, right? Congress and everything is just not the understanding of what crypto is. And so I think education is very, very important in that world. And then in our world, I think it's even more important as we're going to have more novice and keep people coming in, right? We're going to have a younger generation coming in that might not have that same information, education, and all that in place. And so I think, making sure like thoughtful leaders in the space, like you guys all, are able to share the right education pieces, or maybe guide or lead to them to the right way to find out more about it is instrumental. And I almost want to say, how do we incorporate that in gaming, right? Like in Zedrun or in something where there is an educational piece to what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're gaining value and what value and all that. Because I think, again, it's just such an important piece of education. So, I don't know if anybody wants to echo or ask or answer to that, but I thought I'd bring that up and go into that.
Yeah, I can jump in real quick. Like 100% agree. It's our responsibility, where we are, pioneering, and we're on the edge of a new frontier here. And in some ways we're laying the tracks as we go. So, in the 3 years of Zedrun, I mean, we've made plenty of mistakes in terms of getting to where we are, but, those are the mistakes that you learn from. And that's part of innovation. You take risks and you learn, but it's super important that we communicate and educate and bear responsibility in what we do. So it's a huge focus for us, which is, I hope people have seen this start of this 2022.
Calvin or Michelle, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I was just really talking about the Damon Sharp. We partnered with Damon Sharp to actually have a concert, and we have a 3-part NFT for Defintasy. Our first Genesis drop was just Tokyo Hearts. Basically, the hearts beat to his music. We divided one of his exclusive original song into 30 pieces, so it became a collectible. The second drop is a concert, NFT tickets to his concert. And, Damon Sharp is a celebrity. He has a lot of followers. However, we're focusing on educating his normal fans about NFTs and how to use and buy, how to use the MetaMask. I've been like in Clubhouse for a year doing hibernation. And a lot of what we do in the community is really education. I remember when people, come to the metaverse and, listen to music or even hang out, they don't even know how to use the keyboards, to move around. And so I spent a lot of time just, teaching my friends, how to use like ASWG, and then also move around the metaverse, how to walk. I think with NFT and MetaMask and also metaverse and how to control that and how to actually enter, I think it's a learning curve, right? And I think education is really what we need to do or what we want to do continuously, so that we can have adoption, a mass adoption, and I think it's going to continue to be really important and vital as part of what we do.
Yeah, Calvin, did you want to say anything or add to that?
Yeah, to add on to that, I suppose when it comes to like education, I guess for gaming projects out there, they're doing their part as to like creating an easier onboard experience for Web2 gamers out there. For example, just using a Web2 UI instead of connecting your MetaMask wallet, using fiat on ramp solutions, right? So you can use your cash, through MoonPay or whatnot, to just directly purchase NFTs instead of buying digital assets on crypto exchanges, then moving on to MetaMask, and then moving on to the chains that requires you require to play the game, right? Because currently games are very sophisticated, and there are many obstacles, right? People are saying, oh, ETH games are super expensive to play and super slow, blah blah. So games are moving to side chains, right? So we're moving to layer 2s. So but a normal retail investor wouldn't really know how to approach that, right? So I guess it will take some time, for people to adopt this, and I feel like guilds play a very important part in this as well. Guilds are actually implementing a lot of education resources, teaching their players how to earn money, just using these assets. And yeah, other than that, I feel like there's a lot of like online resources as well, and yeah, people definitely look into that, and it will take some time to adopt this, but yeah, it has a great future. It's a great, yeah.
You're on mute, Jorge.
Yep.
If I could add to that real quick, if that's all right. Like you said, guilds and communities is a huge part. With Zed, we actually believe we're building a community and not so much a game. It's a platform for the community. And I think that's really important when you focus on these play to earn games as well, is that you're building and enabling the people. And through that, you'll get that cross education. If you build up the right community, you're gonna see them help each other, just like Axie Infinity with the guilds, as well as in our community in Zed Run. So that's a super important point, that it becomes this kind of symbiotic, synergetic team aspect, so to speak, which is beautiful to see.
Yeah, and I think I'm on, maybe I would say anywhere between 1 or 3 calls a week with guilds, talking to them, and it's really and that they're going through their pitch deck, and I'm understanding, and key points are for me is the education part to the scholars, and exactly almost everything we're talking about to make sure. And my feedback, I always like to give them feedback, and I'll be like, hey, these are the things that you should look for and what's and whatnot. And I think it's hitting on everything we just talked about is just so important. And Matt, I know those conversations are having with guilds, but it's great to hear, like Chris, you're saying that the community is so important and building within their community and educating and everything that we're hitting on. And it goes to, I think what we're here in Arcade, one of the biggest thing is, was the barrier to entry was something that we wanted to address. The community itself was something we wanted to address. I think, one of the thing that how Arcade really came about was, how do we get institutional money to come in, right? Because a lot of folks have the cash to want to invest, don't have the time to play gaming, right? But they want to invest. and they don't want to just buy the token and hold the token sometimes, because again, we're talking about having a bubble, right? So how do we know what games to really invest in? And so that's why Arcade, like, the infrastructure, the GameFi, how we call it, we built this platform for investors to come in and invest, and we kind of allocate certain mission pools and say, hey, what we like, if it's Star Atlas or Axie Infinity or Illuvium, whatever it is. And so working with game guilds and everything. So I think it's, again, the community feeling and working with everybody and making sure that everybody's being voiced and heard is so important. So, I kind of thank you guys for that conversation and wrapping that up. I do want to get to the questions that the some of the audience is asking, because I do respect that. I see the first one. Do you think Veracity have a big role to play in PTE, so play to earn? I don't know who wants to answer that one. Oh, how about this one already? How does gaming guilds keep their player incentivized if native gaming tokens drop in value like Axie Infinity recently did? I'll let Calvin on that one, because I know he's from the investment side.
Okay. Well, I guess that question actually relates to how the tokenomics works, right? So you can see what Skymave is doing, right? So it's the most recent update, they're stopping emissions for SLP, for their PvE mode, right? So you need to correct like that, but that's not really on the guild, right? To incentivize the players to play. If the tokenomics is no longer working, players will no longer play the game. So, but using SLP as an example, like you just asked, they'll be taking steps to create the supply sink, right, for these tokens to help support the price, because that's what ultimately what incentivizes people to play the game, right? Once they actually cross the threshold of, I'm actually making less money than my minimal what I'm earning in my country, then there's no point in me playing the game anymore. Right, so I'm not too sure what Skymove is going to do like next, but as we can see with the most recent update, they've been doing steps to help support the SLP price. Yeah.
I also wanted to add that, like, if you're looking at NFTs right now versus tokens, it's a little bit different, right? NFTs still kind of hold its value. So for Defintasy, we focus on NFTs. I think that hopefully NFT, because it's unique asset, it's not going to be as volatile as cryptocurrency. And then another aspect is that if you build an awesome game, is just really going back to the community. Like in Web2 games, you play and you have fun, and you love that game. And if you see Web3 as something extra, where you can earn tokens or earn to live or earn NFTs and you're still having fun, then why not? If I'm playing, games on my iPhone, or even go to the metaverse to meet your friends, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I play games, I'm meeting other people in the community, and that's a big part of it. I'm playing Fortnite and other games. I play with my friends, right? And I just wanted to win. And sometimes that has a better value than the token itself. Because I think tokens can go up and down, but the game is still there, and I think the community is still going to be there. And in crypto, we're used to volatility.
So, looking at the clock, we got a couple more minutes to go, and so I kind of want to start wrapping it up, and I want to do kind of Michelle. I'll start with you, and we'll work around the clock. You want to give a closing remark? How do we follow you? What social media handles do you have? And tell us one game that you're really bullish, and we should all look up right after this call.
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at Big Goddesses. I'm also an NFT artist. And Telegram, Laptop Radio. Make sure it's a real one, because sometimes I get impersonators. And I like Axies as a game, but I'm looking forward to like Web3 game, whether it's metaverse or mobile. Like I love metaverses because I love to be immersed in that environment and meeting people and interacting and become avatars. So I'm looking forward to, more awesome metaverse, whether casual or AAA games.
And what's one person or one team or one game that you wish you could get connected today with?
I love Zet Run. I love
Great.
horses and I ride horses all around the world. So
I think I might be able to connect with that. I think I know a guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, so I love horses and I've ridden horses all around the world. So I'm actually really excited to be on this panel today. Thank you for having me.
Great. And Chris, I'll let you give your closing remarks and what's one game that you kind of want to partner up with or work with, and go for it.
Yeah, so like we like working with games, but also brands, right? Like I think there's something appealing bringing that real world into the digital and that cross-pollination of brands and communities. I think that's really, really exciting, ushering in the next generation of young crypto gaming enthusiasts into, let's put it out there, Ferrari maybe, they've got a beautiful horse logo that would look nice with the Z horse perhaps, but jokes aside, I'm excited about gaming in the future, and if there's a game I'm excited about, it's actually our next IP that's coming out called Human Park, which I would look it up because it echoes a lot of the stuff we talked about today: self-identity in the metaverse, exploration, evolution of oneself, but in the digital space, self-identity, customization, all the good stuff that NFTs and true digital asset ownership now gives you power and utility and a distribution of wealth back over. So just to close off. Oh, sorry.
And how do we follow you, and what website should we go on? Tell us how the
Thank
community.
you. Yeah, so I am Chris Ebeling on Twitter. I'm active on Twitter. LinkedIn is probably my next most active spot. And if you hit me up in either of those places, I'll be sure to reach back to you. And I just want to thank you, Jorge, for the panel, and Michelle and Calvin. A pleasure meeting you all, and happy to talk digital horses any day and beyond.
So Calvin, come to you. Closing remarks, and what's in your space that I think is that you want to meet with or team up with? Is it a game that you want to team up with, or is it another investor that's big in the space?
I mean, we're pretty active in the space, so we're constantly looking out when it comes to like games, investors, partners, any sort of firm, right? We'll be looking to find ways to work together. So hey, feel free to reach out on Twitter, LinkedIn. My Twitter handle is it's just Cal. If not, you can just search me out on LinkedIn. That works as well. But yeah, I guess in gaming, in general, there's a lot to look forward to. Just variety of games. If I were new, if I were new to GameFi, I would look into Axie. It's like the staple currently, right? But yeah, other than that, if you're looking to play like digital horses, go with the Z Run, Pegasus. You're looking to play poker, go with the Decentral Games, or there's some other ones out there. If you're looking to incentivize yourself to do some sports, go with Geno Pets, go with Sweatcoin. There's plenty of games out there, plenty of ways to earn.
So I almost think that you should drop a blog in one of your Twitters next of the games that you're looking at that you're very excited about, because you were definitely rambling off some games that right now I'm like, writing them down, and I'm pretty excited about looking them up after. So definitely, I'll end it, with thanks for everybody. These things are always so fun and exciting. I think it's so important to educate. I think it's so important for people to hear what we're seeing, what we're doing, what roadblocks we're facing, and what's in our industry. At Arcade, it's been a fun couple of weeks for me, helping raise cash. Capital was so much fun talking to VCs and, talking to seeing what they see and what they want, what they look for, because it gives me more of an imagination of what I need to go with a product for people and what communities are going to be looking for. And same thing, vice versa, talking to game guilds. And so, if you want to look us up, it's arcade2earn.io. On all social medias as well. Instagram is arcade2io. Same thing on Twitter. We're closing the rounds. We got some really fun and exciting news that's coming out on our end that I'm really excited to share in the next couple days. And so I'm actually flying to LA right after this to go party with Michelle. So I'm excited about that as well. So we're not partying in the metaverse, we're partying in real life as well. And so those are the person or team that I would like to meet. I don't know. I think everybody on this panel, I would love to grab a cup of coffee in the metaverse with you guys and kind of just keep chatting. I think you guys are all great individuals, and you guys are making a name for yourselves and your organizations, and I appreciate that, and I consider you guys kind of leaders in this industry. So by all means, you guys are the people I want to meet. So I'll introduce myself privately with you guys. And I think that's it. I think we hit 12:45. I think we're the most exciting, and so look us all up. And thank you very much, GDA and the Metaverse Summit.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.